Here we go. Caleb, in prime time, it's Bears going into Houston to play the Texans, Chicago Bears, Houston Texans. All eyes are going to be on NBC to watch this game on Sunday night. The Bears' offense struggled mightily last game. There's not much you can say that went well. It was a struggle in every sense of the word. But, and there is a but, if you go and look back at the film, things are close to clicking. And I think that things are a half second, quarter second away from, if you give him a little bit more time, if he's a little bit more settled in the pocket, there were some chances at big plays. This is by no means a dysfunctional offense. I'm not ready to write the Bears offense off just yet. But they're going to need to turn it on against this Texans team because they looked great on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. C.J. Stroud is still a top quarterback in the NFL, and I can't say enough about how good that Texans team has been for these past two seasons, or just for this past season, I should say. But man, this Bears defense is as good as we've seen in a long time. It might be the best defense since that 2018 team. They are generating a pass rush, contrary to what many people believed. Jarrell Taylor looks like he may be the best trade acquisition of the early season. I mean, he immediately made an impact. You immediately won that trade if you're Ryan Poles. A 6th-round pick, game 1, 2 sacks, forced fumble. Case closed. The Bears won that trade if he does nothing else. But it's going to be a lot harder to do that against C.J. Stroud than it was against Will Levis. You're going from J.C. Latham to Laramie Tunsil. Everything is being elevated on the offensive side. The challenge is going to be ramped up. And they may not have Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons in the interior defense, but almost every other player on that defense is an upgrade over what the Titans have. So this is going to be a real challenge for the Bears. I think this could either be a very close game that the Bears may win, or this could be a very ugly game where the Bears look overmatched. Now, I hope it's the former, but I don't know. After last Sunday, watching that offense, I am very worried that it could be the latter. What do you think, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it comes down to a top 10 offense facing a bottom 10 offense. So I'm going to have to say Houston is probably going to take this game. But with that being said, I do think it will be closer than the 6.5-point spread. Ultimately, my personal concern is only with Rome Odunze. I think if Rome Odunze comes and plays on Sunday night, that'll be a positive, but I'm not expecting him to play. Ultimately, there's really only thing that I could point out with the offense this year is that the offensive line is seriously not figured out. I thought Coleman Shelton was going to be
You called it.
At the center. I thought he was going to be fine at center, but he is really not fine at center. Nate Davis and
That's
Ryan,
an understatement.
Yeah, Nate Davis and Ryan Bates seems like they're platooning the right guard spot. But yeah, our interior offensive line is very problematic. Ultimately, if there's one positive thing that could happen this week, it's just to see that we can move the ball in the passing game against a very talented secondary. One person on Houston's secondary I want to shout out is the rookie Kalen Bullock. He had a great week 1. He had the best week 1 amongst rookies, I believe. Ultimately, yeah, I think we're going to lose. But the only positive thing for the Bears this week is this is not counted into our 10-game win projection.
Right.
I don't think anyone incorporated this as a win in our projection. So that's one positive thing to keep an eye on. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough early on, and I think Houston will probably win this game.
Here's the deal, though. I mean, everybody thought going into the season that the Bears defense was critically deficient along the defensive front. They rushed the passer against a solid, albeit young, Titans offensive line. And that Tennessee Titans offensive line has some real players on it. I mean, they have, Latham, Skoronski, the centers. He was the high-paid center from the Broncos. Lloyd Cushenberry. There were some real players on that team and on that offensive line. And guys like Jarrell Taylor, like I said, Javon Dexter, guys you needed to step up, did that. And that definitely changes the perception of the Bears for me this season. If the offense had been able to click on one or two of those plays, we could feel a lot more confident about the Bears going into this game.
Yeah.
It's a game of inches. So we'll see. I'm going to sound like the ultimate Bears fan by being like, they still have a chance, even with how bad they looked. But I truly believe that with the amount of talent that the Bears have along the skill positions, they're not going to have to face Tavontre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons every single game.
Yeah.
Tevin Jenkins, that's hopefully going to be the worst game he has all season. And the Bears are going to be able to roll, like you said. No one was expecting this to be a guaranteed win. They were expecting the Titans. You did need to win that Titans game. But here we are. They're 1-0. I think they're in a good spot. But even if they lose, there's stuff you can build on. So,
do you think Keenan Allen? Yeah. Do you think Keenan Allen plays on Sunday?
When he came up limp on the broken play that Caleb threw up to the end zone on Sunday, I was concerned about that. I think that if Rome doesn't play, I think Keenan will play. I think Keenan will, if he's able to play. I don't think that they're going to leave Caleb hanging out to dry with just DJ Moore. And I mean we're already testing what looks to be a shallow Bears wide receiver room. We're testing the depth immediately. So,
and
I don't know.
Cut Bayless. Cut Bayless Jones.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get no argument from me here, but they're not going to cut him when they need a body with Rome Odunze injured, who I'm not going to say he intentionally injured Rome Odunze, but he was the reason Rome Odunze got injured, and now he just happens to be the guy who's probably going to benefit from it. So, yeah, all this to say, I think that C.J. Stroud's a hard player to bet against. I think that he is a year along in his development. But once again, I mean, we're talking about the last time you compared Caleb Williams to C.J. Stroud and they were playing at the same level, C.J. Stroud was applauding Caleb as he took the stage to accept his Heisman. So let's just remember that when we compare these two players and their trajectories going forward. I still think that Caleb has a very high ceiling that he could reach any given week. So hope the Bears do well. Not expecting them to do well. Like you said, it wasn't one of the wins that we projected in the 10-win total to get them to the playoffs.